Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the early hours of the morning on March 31st, 1995, 911 dispatchers would receive a call. The call would come from an office manager in a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi, Texas. The woman explained to the dispatcher that they would be working their normal shift when a woman would come through the doors completely covered in blood, screaming that she had been shot. The workers would do everything in their power to try to stop the bleeding from the poor woman. Even though they would urge her to stay awake and to keep fighting, unfortunately, they could tell that the woman was trailing fast. That woman would, of course, be 24-year-old Selena Quintanilla. I apologize if my pronunciation is wrong, so please bear with me. But Selena would not just be a regular person, as she would not only be a celebrity, she would be a songwriter, a singer, and much people would refer to her as a modern-day Latino Madonna. As the workers would try to stop the bleeding and keep Selena conscious for dispatchers and police to arrive there. But she could only utter one word or name as they awaited for authorities, as she would keep telling them, "Yolanda did this." Selena Quintanilla was born on April 16, 1971, and she would be born to her parents, Abraham and Marcella. Now, as I had said before, Selena was referred to as a Latino type Madonna, and her father would be a great encouragement for her family to play music, as she was known for creating some very popular Tiano music, or making it more popular in American culture. Some would even refer to Selena and her family as a Latino version of the Jackson 5. Selena would grow up with her family, and it should be noted that her family was a very tight-knit family, and it's said that this family was the type of family that would do a lot of stuff together. It should be noted that is said that Selena would be raised Jehovah's Witness, but aside from that, that's about all that's said about their religious preferences. And being that Abraham was a former musician himself, it is said that this is probably where Selena had found her love for music. And it's said that Abraham and Marcella would notice from a very young age that Selena had a gift when it came to music, as she almost had a pitch-perfect voice. Now, at some point, Abraham would actually open up his own business or restaurant, a Papagayos, in Freeport, Texas. And when I said the family was a very tight-knit family, that is exactly what I meant, as in their restaurant, the only people that really worked there were family members, and the entire family worked together. They did everything together. They ate dinners together. And of course, they played music together. And it said Selena and her brothers and sisters and family would actually play at Papagayo every single night. This may, in fact, be where they got their start in playing music, and Abraham would actually say very early on that he may have been more forceful about them playing music. But this restaurant lifestyle would not last long, as the family would run into a string of bad luck, and they would unfortunately lose the business that they had, and after this fact, the family would actually get evicted from their homes. And it is said that after this incident, this would have very traumatizing effects on Selena. It's said that after this incident, she would become a very hard worker and be very passionate about working and doing the best she could with her music abilities, just so not only she could support herself with no problems, but also support her family. After the family was evicted and forced to close the restaurant, they would actually relocate to Corpus Christi, Texas, where Abraham would start forming his family band, Selena Los Dinos, and would quickly begin promoting it. Being that they were trying to promote their band and trying to get their name out there, Abraham would have the family pretty much play anywhere that they could possibly play music at. Birthday parties, weddings, funerals, you named it, they were playing at it and singing it. Eventually, demands for Selena were becoming more and more popular, and it was starting to interfere with her work at school. And instead of putting education first, Abraham would actually take Selena out of school when she was in the 8th grade. One of her teachers would disapprove of this greatly and threaten to report Abraham to the Board of Education, saying that his decision to take Selena out of school and putting her in the music industry and just putting her in an environment that was unhealthy for a little girl. Abraham would respond to these type of threats to tell the teacher face to face to mind her business. When Selena was 17 years old, she would actually get a high school diploma from the American Correspondence School in Chicago and would quickly enroll to Louisiana State University. She would also enroll in Pacific Western University, where she would take business administration as her major. Even though Selena would continue her education, Abraham would still keep pursuing his musical ambitions, and he would actually buy an old school bus that he would nickname Big Bertha. And a lot of times they would just be traveling and singing whenever they could, just so they could have money to buy food. And at some points they would barely have money for gasoline. Now, even though Selena primarily spoke English, she had wanted to sing in her musical career primarily English for the band. But Abraham would actually encourage her to sing Tiano music and would also encourage her to sing primarily Spanish, or being more genuine to her heritage. So Selena would honor her father's request and sing primarily Spanish. The Tiano music that they would be playing was kind of a mixture of different types of genres. Selena would describe it as being a mixture of folk, polka, jazz, and country. While trying to promote their debut album, Abraham would have Selena appear on the Johnny Canales Show, which would be a very popular Spanish language radio show at the time. But Abraham would run into a lot of issues with his band, mainly because he had his daughter, or youngest daughter, Selena, as the lead singer. And they were turned down by a lot of Texas executives because they said that she would never really amount to anything musically, for the sole fact that she was a female lead singer, and it was in a genre of basically where men dominated that type of musical class. Which, ironically enough, in 1987, Selena would actually win, despite what many people had said, Female Vocalist of the Year. And it should also be noted, despite what many people had said, she would win Vocalist of the Year for 9 consecutive years after the fact. Typically, I don't like people to eat their words, but when talking about how someone couldn't do something based on their gender, and the fact that she completely became everything they said she wouldn't be, kind of funny. In fact, in one of those 9 consecutive years that Selena was performing at, the one specifically in 1989, Jose Baer would actually be watching, who was a producer at EML Latino Records, and he was actually looking for a female Latino voice. And as luck would have it, Selena would actually be performing that night, and immediately he was completely hooked on just Selena's aura and just her pitch perfect voice. So needless to say, it would not take him long to sign Selena for a contract. And it's around this time that Selena would take the world completely by storm.